This should have been simple, a quick Cathay Pacific economy trip from Manila to Shanghai via Hong Kong, about 6 hours gate to gate. Instead, it turned into an 18-hour marathon, a missed connection, and an unexpected overnight stay in Hong Kong. And somehow, I would still rate Cathay a 5- for this flight. Because the difference between a good and great airline is not about not having any problems, it's about how they deal with them. So let's experience Cathay economy together. And along the way, we'll also get a chance to look at and compare two of their main long-haul workhorses, Boeing 777-300ER and Airbus A350-900. I'm flying from Manila today. It's one of the largest Asian megacities and an important spoke feeding Hong Kong hub, so Cathay is running this route with one of their long-haul flagships, Boeing 777 rather than A321, which they use for many other regional routes. This is one of the advantages of flying in Asia over Europe. In Asia you can often experience wide bodies even on short routes, while intra-European flights are almost an exclusive domain of A320s and Boeing 737s. Every love story starts with the first kiss, every flight experience at the check-in. Manila Ninoy Aquino Airport is a mess, crowded and not well organized. It operates well beyond its capacity. It reminds me of Ho Chi Minh's Tan Son Nhat. Same problems, same reputation for delays. Cathay Zone seems rather orderly, but that's more of an optical illusion. It's so slow. With just 20 people in front of me and 5 check-in desks, it takes more than 30 minutes. It feels like check-in was outsourced not to handling agents but to some government department, with an unwavering commitment to complicated paperwork. Ultimately, with all the clicks and document checks, it starts to feel at some point that I'm about to be issued a mortgage rather than get on a flight. But all that faded away once I came to immigration. In retrospect, that check-in felt like a masterclass in efficiency. All in all, count at least an hour and a half to go through airport. Finally through, and I quickly realized that this is not exactly the most exciting airport. It's basically one long gallery, shops on one side, gates on the other. Between here and the flight, there is really just one important stop left. Not a lounge though, this is economy today. And even if it wasn't, it still wouldn't be a lounge situation. You want to know the secret? It's mango. The Philippines are famous for their mangoes, often considered the best in the world, or allegedly the best, depending on how strict YouTube lawyers are. I didn't have much time to explore the shops this trip, so this is basically my last chance to pick up some in duty-free, even if probably 3 times the price. Now that I have ticked off my little Philippines bucket list, I'm heading quickly to the gate. Boarding is about to start, but I still want to catch a look at the aircraft. And with the sunset in the background, the 777 really does look like a fashion model on a runway. Elegant, almost unusually graceful for something this large. You often hear small is beautiful, but here, size actually comes with elegance, something that I can't say for the Airbus A380. And then I notice I have a bit more time than expected. Actually, quite a bit more. The flight is delayed. First 15 minutes, then half an hour, and then it just keeps slipping. It feels really like air traffic congestion, which doesn't come as a big surprise in Manila. We eventually board with a delay of more than an hour. Not dramatic on its own, but exactly the kind of margin you don't want when you have a tight connection in Hong Kong. But I will worry about my connection later. For now, it's time to leave the airport behind and finally step on board. Economy cabin on this 777 has a standard 343 configuration, a very typical setup. It's really only few Japanese airlines that still use a more generous 333 layout, something I keep telling myself I should try one day. Once inside, I remind myself, turn right after the door, although some part of me still wants to go left. Old habits die hard. Today's aircraft is a veteran, around 28 years old, but you really wouldn't tell it from the cabin. Everything is perfectly maintained, seats are in a very good shape, and Cathay's signature dark green gives it that calm understated feel they do so well. Couldn't help but to think about my experience on Air India 787, where a barely a 10-year-old cabin felt tired and looked twice, if not more, its age. Clearly tells that maintenance and care in aviation could mean much more than age on its own. Cathay is using Recaro CL3710 seat, a classic seat platform used from KLM to Etihad. But Cathay has a premium specification version. The seat itself is familiar, but Cathay's finishings makes it feel distinctly more upscale. Better padding and headrest, decent lumbar contour. With this seat we get 31-inch leg space. It's generally average for long haul, same as you find from Lufthansa to United, but for a short haul it feels perfectly adequate, and ultimately a much better product that you would get on a typical narrow body often serving international short haul. The challenge is, however, with this seat structure. The seat fixtures block the space in front of my feet and basically cut available space by half. All seats come with built-in in-flight entertainment monitor. Cathay uses 11-inch displays. They don't break any size matters records, but the brightness, colors and resolution is great. It's definitely better than older style 9-10-inch displays like the one I experienced last year on American 777-200. Same scene as others though. A big black frame around the screen which tries to make it look bigger. Unfortunately, that works only as long as it's off. Monitors come with USB ports, check, but then there is also something ancient. This is video looking port. It makes me immediately wonder if I was supposed to bring my VCR or Nintendo. Somehow the two seem to be from totally different eras. Headphones are already placed in the seat pocket, which is great. You don't need to wait till the takeoff if you want to see a movie on the shorter flight. It's basic over-ear headphones. You would not confuse this with a premium set, but it's a good step forward from standard plastic earbuds you still get on most of the carriers, even for the long haul. And honestly, it's not much different from what I got in business on China Eastern. And I noticed that beyond the standard tray table, Cathay has also this additional foldable mini table. It could be used for tablet or smartphone, as well as a cup holder. Simple things, but show they care about passenger comfort and experience. I'm done with the seat, we start taxiing, and I realize two things. I'm getting hungry and that we're at least 2 hours behind the schedule. Well, the dinner is getting closer, wonder what Cathay will treat me with, and the chances to catch my connecting flight are getting slimmer. I decide to focus on the first topic and postpone my worries on the second till we land in Hong Kong. While we are still taxiing, I successfully enroll Cathay in my safety video competition. I love comparing how airlines use this otherwise boring tool to tell about who they are. Cathay is doing very well here. Its video is clearly connected to origins of the airlines and Hong Kong, hard to confuse it with anything else. We are taking off over Manila Bay and for a few moments I'm just enjoying the view. Generally, the Manila Bay coastline is not exactly the most picturesque spot, nothing like Victoria Harbour in Hong Kong or Singapore's Marina Bay. But at night you don't see all the imperfections, rather a view of megacity full of lights by the sea. The crew doesn't lose any time starting food service, trying to make up at least a bit for the delay. Let's see what we got here, but before I say anything, the fact that we have a meal on a 2-hour flight is already a pleasant surprise, and a big contrast with Europe, where the best you can expect even on 3-4 hour flights is a mint or a cookie. Well, it looks like European airlines took a wrong turn at some point, but I'm not sure my grant will make any difference, so I rather pay attention to the dinner. We get a very decent beef rice with steamed vegetables. I'm about to get ready for a business class-like, very serious culinary review, but then I remind myself that I turned right at the door, not left, so should not be too picky. Or if I still want to be diligent, I could have an in-depth comparison with a glass of water I got recently on Austrian Airlines economy flight in Europe. It looks and smells good, the serving has a decent size, taste is totally acceptable. What else would you expect on a short haul? Interestingly, Cathay is serving metal cutlery, which is definitely unusual for economy, much better than usual flimsy plastic forks, and definitely another small but nice touch. Overall, well done on food, Cathay. Dinner is over, and what's up with my next flight starts buzzing up again in my head. So to distract myself, I'm switching attention to in-flight entertainment. As I said before, the form is there with a very solid screen and decent headphones. What about the contents? Here Cathay is doing great. The selection of movies and series is excellent. It's almost teasing you that your flight is just 2 hours and you will not be able to watch all you would like to. I select The Paper, the less known sequel of famous Office series, and it happily accompanies me all the way to Hong Kong, so that the next time I glance in the window I see the landing lights of Hong Kong International Airport. While we are still taxiing, the crew announces all the flights with connection problems and tells that all the info will be provided right after at the exit of the aircraft. This tells two things: A, I for sure missed my flight, B, Cathay actually cares. We exit the airplane and instead of being sent to customer service desk somewhere far away, right after the air bridge I get a new boarding pass and hotel and meal vouchers. Everything took literally 30 seconds. Now instead of taking my next flight to Shanghai, I'm taking a walk to a regal hotel somewhere in the far corner of huge Hong Kong airport. What's good is that in contrast to all other airport signs, the hotel signs are in red, so it's very easy to spot them in this otherwise complex airport. All in all, it takes about 20 minutes walking and here we are. Despite the late hour, the hotel seems to be very busy. Likely all other unlucky fellow passengers who missed their flights. I actually expected something much smaller and fit to purpose, but it's a very large hotel with a pretty fancy lobby area. Wonder what's the point if mostly used by people who just need to grab a sleep till the next flight. Hotel seems to have distressed passengers already in the system, so check-in takes not even a minute and I'm on my way to the room. The room is not the most luxurious, but remember it's for free, but it's definitely large, clean and has all the necessary amenities. No shortcuts here from Cathay, they really took care that I get a decent night, even if I didn't plan on having that night in Hong Kong airport. Next morning I do the same 20-minute walk but just in the opposite direction, from the hotel to the gates. Unlike Manila, you can spend the day in the Hong Kong airport and still not feel bored. Plenty of shops and restaurants to explore, and if you are lucky to fly business or have an elite status with Cathay or One World Alliance, you would love Cathay lounges. I'm in economy today, but few months ago I truly enjoyed the quiet luxury of Cathay Bridge Lounge, which I could confidently put among the best in the world. But today, instead of the lounge, I put to a good use 275 Hong Kong dollar vouchers which I got yesterday to get a smoothie, a Danish and a coffee. Well, it's a Hong Kong, so you don't go too far for $25, but it's good enough for a breakfast. I am again at the gate and ready to check out my next plane. While yesterday it was a veteran 777, my Hong Kong to Shanghai hop will be on a 10-year-old A350-900. It's a next generation of Cathay fleet, but I wonder if I could feel any difference inside. It's 15 hours by now since I left Manila. I missed whatever I could miss, which also brings a certain relief. I'm not hurrying any longer and just enjoying the travel. Everything is on time now and much more organized compared to Manila chaos. The carpets of Airbridge remind me of Singapore airport, but also how basic many European airports are these days compared to Asia. And here I am inside. You can immediately feel that this is Cathay, but I can immediately also sense a difference. The cabin is newer, but more importantly it feels more spacious. It may sound surprising as 777 is ultimately a larger plane, but the trick is that Cathay uses 9 abreast 333 layout on A350s versus 10 abreast 343 at 777s. This one seat less changes a lot on this A350. You don't sit elbow to elbow with your neighbor and in general you feel like every seat has more personal space. Cathay uses same Recaro seats family as on 777s, but they got even better padding, improved headrest and generally feel like having improved ergonomics. The upholstery is in excellent condition as for 10-year-old plane. I have seen worse business class seats than this economy. There is also an extra inch of leg space compared to 777, which is definitely adding to the overall comfort. The screens seem to be little brighter and little larger, though technically they are the same 11-inch screens as on 777s, which I still find difficult to believe. They also come with the latest Cathay user interface, same that I experienced in Area Suites business. There is nowhere to plug Nintendo any longer, but instead there is a universal power socket. You are now good not only for your smartphone, but also for your laptop. All in all, this feels a very much familiar Cathay cabin, just a notch better versus already a very good hard economy product on 777. My next 2 hours to Shanghai were quite uneventful, and finally I finished my journey at Shanghai Pudong 18 hours after I started it at Manila. Time to make a verdict. Alright, I missed the flight and arrived almost a day after, that's true. But am I disappointed and vowed to never fly Cathay? Not really. I'm actually happy to give them 5- for this short-haul economy experience. Cathay is using wide bodies on routes most often operated by 737s and A320s. This sets a different game from the start. The cabin and seat comfort is very good, if not excellent. And even on short-haul flight they provide meal service with a very respectable food quality. And an excellent choice of online entertainment. While 777 is good, A350 is taking comfort even higher. And this would be my recommendation if you have a choice of plane for your routes. So yes, I missed a connection, spent an unexpected night in Hong Kong and arrived almost a day later than planned. But honestly, I would still fly Cathay again without hesitation. You will never find an airline who doesn't have a single problem. The real difference is that Cathay provides great experience and owns its problems, while some others do neither of that. At the end, I was still very happy with my Cathay experience and looking forward for new flights, economy or business.